Alright, today the big project begins. We got to pull this feeder house off. What that involves, all these hydraulic hoses have to come loose. That'll allow us access in here to pull that big bolt, and then we'll pull the feeder house cylinders off, and then we'll get a chain and run through there and pick this feeder house up and park it over there, pick it up with the forklift. So Robert's gonna crank this thing up and raise it up where we can get the cylinders undone. So we're gonna pull this cotter pin out right here, and then we're gonna take a hammer and knock these pins out, and I'll allow that cylinder to drop down. Well, wasn't much today. It got the cylinders out. Hoses off in a bucket. Don't look like it's gonna leak much today. So that's a good thing. Let this bad boy down. I'm gonna we'll just unscrew this single point, and we're gonna lay it over here on the tire, and then we'll have to unhook these right here. Now I got our single point hookup undone. Got them two hydraulic lines that run up through there undone. Got our parking brake cable undone. Some electrical wires undone. The only thing left is right here, and this is the reverser cable for a feeder house, so I gotta get it. All right, I gotta get up underneath here and pull that pin right there where we can get this reverser cable undone. Got two bolts holding on, then we can pull it out. We're rolling the feeder house drive belt off. We just did it. When you do that, you need to drive you a block in here in this pulley to keep it open, because this spring loaded keeps tension on that belt. And this belt right here went in this groove, and that big feeder house belt went right there. Now I believe we are ready to let this feeder house down, and we're going to pull this bolt right here. While you're in here is an excellent time to check the bearings in this piece right here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get us a small chain and run through this hole right here, and we're going to go from there to the top of the mast, because that's what's going to hold this feeder house upright while when we back away. If you just caught it like we got it with the forklift right now, this thing would fall down on the ground. Oh, I see what's making that noise. Alright, maybe the bearings ain't bad, guys. This son of a gun right here, this gauge that puts spring tension on the feeder house belt got caught behind this pulley somehow or another. Runs good and quiet now. Alrighty then. Alright, we got our chain hooked around our mast here. Got a chain binder on it. I like to use a chain binder because when you go back together with this, you can adjust the pitch that the feeder house comes in. This ain't got to be tight. You just want it snug enough that this feeder house is not going to get away from you when you undo these big old bolts up here. So as far as I know, we're ready to undo them two big old bolts, and we should be able to pick this feeder house up and back it up. Back that thing up. There ain't no sense in messing around, guys. Go on, get your pipe. Go on, get you a pipe that you can do something with. It ought to come by hand now, maybe, Robert. I don't know. There you go. They don't give up easily. You get loose enough, when Mike can take an impact and run it the rest of the way. Didn't think we probably could have used our 1-inch gun. Alright, I'm gonna go get Robert an impact here and see if we can't use it to run them out where he ain't got to work so hard. And then we'll go to the other side. since I'm not on the business end of it, I like to get back here behind something in case something gives up. I ain't in the line of danger. That one didn't act like it hardly had as much torque on it there. That one didn't have quite as much give up as the other one did. Just a big hook that hooks down in there and bolts in there. Try to start pronouncing all my syllables. We gotta get the single point. Got to get the single point swung around. And then the only other thing, just lay it on that block and that'll work. The only thing right now that I know may give an issue is we're gonna see if that we're just gonna keep an eye on that cable and hoping it'll just kind of pull itself on through. Oh. Oh, it's steady. You're now free to roll the bobcat. Now, let's look in here and we're going to take a look at her. Take a look at her feeder house sprockets. Well, they're bad, but they're not near as bad as I thought they were. Yeah, well, I mean, it's time. But they're, to be honest with you, they're really not as bad as I thought they were. I thought they was just plumb.
Yep. I
thought they was plumb eat up and gone. But why? We done got it bought, and while you're in here, now's the time to do it. And I think the biggest thing is the concave. It's pretty round back there in the back. Up there on the front, it's giving it the old number 2 pencil test. They say if you rasp or down below a number 2 pencil, it's time to change them. And they are in spots, but spots they're right on the, I'd say they're right on the borderline of being due to change. Now you can tell them molds, they got some wear on them. That's kind of a odd wear pattern. We'll have to go here in a later little bit. We'll throw the separator belt off or we can turn this darn thing. So we're going to do a test run on a little tool I made here. This is a super deep well socket. This combine has a ton of these dang bolt adjust spring tensioners. And I've been doing them with the wrench. We done them with the wrench for years. And then we got ratcheting wrenches, some bigger ratcheting wrenches, which was really cool compared to the way we was doing it. But I've been wanting to make one of these things a long time because this thing has a ton of these tensioners on it. And it's a 15/16, which is a pretty common size, so maybe we can use it for other applications too. But didn't get it welded completely true, but it's good enough to work. Took a 15/16 socket, cut it in two and welded a piece of pipe in between it. And that will go in on the service truck in our special tools box. Tell them what you said about washing the combine and thinking you got it clean.
I thought I did a good job until you start taking stuff apart and you just see how much you do miss.
Yeah, it's hard to get a darn combine completely clean, cause like there's hoses right there and they go up through there. Well, we wash up through there, but you still miss some.
Like Uncle Barry said, the only time a combine is truly clean is the day it rolls off the factory.
The minute it hits the field, it's not clean anymore. But a lot of it's got to do with that dust and crap gets packed in there. This is the worst one. This is the worst one I've seen of them. And I think it's that one. These was the original race bars that come in our combine, because remember we bent? We bent one and we saved these and went out there and got one. Well, you can tell how much more life this one has than this one. You see how it's as smooth looking and this one's still like it's got an edge. And something else, these bars are alternating, and that's to keep from your cylinder overloading one side of your combine, all pulling it to the side. It gives a zigzagging motion to that crop down through the cylinder. All the rasp bars are out. And that Robert get the trash can here, and they can pull all that straw out and put in a garbage can, and then we can start examining our concave and look at the extent of the damage. See these two right here flopping, they're supposed to be like that. They just float in there. They float in there. And then you got two that are keyed, this one and the one down on the end. And then I think this middle one, it floats in there, but it's not keyed. And same thing on this one. But we're starting to be able to see the guts of the combine. Something has run through this combine. You can see here, this ain't part of the concave, but this is like a wear plate on the front of it. And it is wore plumb through. We're gonna have to have one of them. We ain't got them yet. And something has hit the beater up there, so we may try to get in there and see if we can't straighten the beater up while we're here. I love growing bearded weights. I feel like the bearded weights have a lot more yield potential than the non-bearded. But this right here is what sucks about bearded weight. See that? That's nothing but the beards off that weight. Just packed in there. So we're gonna clean this crap out and then we'll come back to you. So welcome back to day 2. This is how far we got yesterday. Feeder house off the forklift and propped up there. All these doors pulled off. It'll take an act of Congress to remember how all them doors go on there. We took the front cover off this concave. We're gonna put new bearings in all these shoe augers here. Still on the fence about putting shoe augers in it. But right here's the front wear plate. I believe we could have got a couple hundred more hours out of it. Old combine. Seen lots of crop come through it. So all we gotta do now, we'll probably try to get our forks of our forklift up underneath this front of this concave. We're hoping we can just roll it out on the forks of the concave. That's stupid. The things that this impact will take off and the things that it won't, it makes it. At my old job, before I started farming on my own, I worked for another farmer, and we replaced the concave in his 9600. But that was 2007, 16 years ago. So some of this stuff is pretty fuzzy. So I'm remembering it as I go here. But I'm gonna put this over in the box of parts, and then I'm gonna look down in that hole and see if I can tell what's going on. Alright, so we got her. Got this right here loose. My phone's ringing. Got that loose. That was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. There's a hex shaft in that. There's a hex shaft in that hole down there. And I was taking a punch and punching it. But I believe you can just pry it off there, so. Ballers want to stick to this one. Oh, I know when. It's my fault. When I took that hammer and knocked that shaft back that way, should be able to just take the hammer, maybe give it a couple whacks there, make it come off. I'm sure this is the first of many times I climb in this stupid thing. Yeah, that was gonna be harder to do than this one. There's a rod up in there, and you see that thing wrapped around it? We gotta get it loose where we can get that beater grate loose from the concave. Y'all see that bolt right there? That's what holds that beater grate into the concave there. So we got to loosen that. It's a slotted one. We don't have to take it completely loose. We just got to loosen it up enough we can slide it out of that slot. 2x4s back there behind that concave, kind of under it. It ain't got to be perfect. Just try and keep from when we undo these. When we done do these top bolts up here, right there, when we undo them bolts, we don't want our concave falling down and denting our shoe augers, so we put them 2x4s up underneath there to prevent, to keep them shoe augers from getting hurt. So, as far as I know, it's when stuff starts getting sketchy. We gonna pull them top 2 bolts, and this sucker should be ready to come out. That's one side loose. we might get us a new boat there from Mother Deere. Well, let's see what happens. Is it all the way off the hooks on your side?
I think so.
That's gonna be fun getting back in there. Like catching on the, I think maybe hopefully Robert and I can just grab a hold of it and finish rolling it out on this pallet. There she be. Only one bit it makes me have to take it apart. You've got to be kidding. Right here. See where the slip foot's been riding on the shaft there, and we're gonna have to replace this shaft. It's done wore down pretty good. They're gonna have to. I hope somebody's got a new one and we ain't got to use a salvage one. That's my goal. We'll see what happens. I don't think I got to take it completely apart. I think all I got to do is just take two bolts out of it. Having to take the slip clutch apart, I swear, I told Robert, I almost swear they designed this stuff. They literally got a 15 nut. You gotta use a 15 socket for a nut, for the nut on the front, and then the bolt head is a 16 millimeter. Like, why? Just why would you do that? And then, and the way it's designed, you really can't get a wrench in there to fit in there right. Some of these things these engineers do make me just scratch my head. Wonder why. Instead of just taking the nut off and slipping the whole assembly off, we gotta take it apart piece by piece. That's where stuff starts getting fun. This is the hard to come apart stuff. So I'm gonna get a hammer and a punch and try to knock this locking collar off, undo this burn flange, and see if this burn magically walks off, or if we're gonna have to start getting a torch involved. And I bet I know which one my money ends up on. Okay guys, today winds up day 2. I mean, we've been working hard on this, but we ain't just been killing ourselves. What did we get accomplished today? We got the concaves out. Let's see, concave out. Got all these shoes, got that front shaft out, shoe auger bearings off. The majority of tomorrow will probably be a parts rounding up day. About all I know we got left is to take them wood blocks out of the front up there, or the back of the combine on the back side of this, and pull these augers out and start rounding up parts. We'll probably take a grinder to the inside this combine in these rusty spots and kind of slick this up a little bit and probably paint it with graphite paint's what I've been thinking. Probably paint this auger troughs with graphite paint, and we should be ready to start assembly. We gotta go to Indiana, get our cylinder bars, go to Sykeston, Missouri, to Worthington Ag Parts and pick up a few parts, and of course we'll go see Cody up there at Tennessee Tractor in Trenton, get stuff. Big group effort getting parts, but we're closer than we was. Oh, the whole reason I turned on the camera was we tried pulling some of these bearings on these augers and they wasn't budging, so I don't like torching on a combine because you run a risk of catching it on fire. But we had a water hose here ready and handy, and what we're fixing to do before we go home today, we're gonna wet all this down good, sprinkle it down, and I'll come back and check it later on tonight. But I believe we're all right, but we are gonna let Robert sprinkle it down here.